Hello and welcome to Ambassadors Live. My name is Zoe and I am a sophomore here at Ozark. My major is Biblical Communications and I'm from Wichita, Kansas.
Hi, my name's Lydia. I'm a senior at Ozark. I'm from Rolla, Missouri, and I'm majoring in a Bachelor of Theology. So currently right now we are inside Goodman Hall, which is one of the 6 residential dorms on campus. I'm a little bit impartial. I'm a residence assistant here in Goodman, so I think it's the best dorm. But the truth of the matter is, all the dorms on campus have such great communities. You can feel so included and so belonged as soon as you step through these doors. We have a bunch of different ways that you can experience community on this campus beyond the dorms. There's mentor groups and life groups every single Thursday each week. And we have intramurals where you can play ultimate frisbee or you can play basketball. We have movie nights in the stew. There's different events like Ozark. There's so many ways here at Ozark that you can just feel so included and so welcomed.
Next, we're going to hear from a recent high school graduate who is coming to Ozark in the fall. But first, last week at camps and CIYs across the country, we filmed you all doing something pretty awesome. Let's check it out.
3, 2, 1. Hey guys, my name is Matthew and I just finished up my freshman year here at Ozark Christian College. Today I'm with my friend Riley. So Riley, can you go ahead and tell us a couple things about yourself, tell us where you're from, and then what you're planning on majoring in here at OCC.
Hi guys, like Matthew said, my name is Riley and I'm from Webb City, Missouri, which isn't very far from Joplin at all. And I am involved in the girls soccer team, and we actually just became the best soccer team in our girls soccer history at Webb City. And tomorrow we'll play in the quarterfinals to hopefully go to the Final Four next week, which is super exciting. But my major at OCC is going to be children's ministry.
Cool. Super cool. Thanks, Riley. And then now I'm going to ask you a couple kind of rapid fire questions, just random, silly questions. So here we go. First question, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. That's my favorite color too. It's a good one. Okay, this is a controversial one, but the word caramel, do you say it caramel or caramel? What's Riley's opinion? Caramel. Wow, interesting. Okay. I have a friend who would really disagree with you on that, but hey, it's your opinion. So cool. All right, and then here's another one. What's your go-to order at Chick-fil-A?
An 8-count nugget meal with fries, 3 honey roasted barbecue, and a large sweet tea.
I love it. Those honey roasted barbecue. It's good. It's so good. Cool. All right. And then here's the last one. Somewhat more serious, but still just kind of a fun question. What's a favorite book of the Bible that you have that you just love to study?
Matthew. I like the first book of the Gospels.
Yeah, about Jesus. So great. And it's named after me, so I'm a little biased, but I love that book. So yeah, love the Gospel of Matthew. Super cool. Okay. So now we have just a little more serious questions that we'll talk through. So Riley, you're planning on majoring in children's ministry here at Ozark. What is the kingdom work that you have already currently been doing, whether it relates to that degree or not? What's some of the stuff that you've been doing? And then maybe share a specific story or something that you've kind of had to do with kingdom work. So
okay, so ever since junior high, we kind of outgrew the kids department at our church, and so I was able to start helping with VBSs, being a sponsor or being a puppet for the preschoolers, little things like that. Yeah. So I've been a small group helper at our day camps for kindergartners, or even our week-long camps for our junior hires. And then I've also been able to be a part of little things such in Station 419, which is our kids department. In this past year, I've gotten the opportunity to be a full-time small group leader. So I have a group of second graders with some crazy boys and some really sweet girls, which makes for an awesome time. But it also gives me the opportunity to speak in front of them and share my point of view or like my testimony with them, which is super fun. But I've also worked like with older kids, like junior hires, and I just recently got to go to mix with them, where we got put in this like lake that we've never, like growing up, it's the summer camp we always go to, and our youth pastor was like, "Okay, sponsors, you're gonna get in the lake," and we were all like, "Yeah, no, we're not, because we're not supposed to." But he had all of our like groups of kids. I was with 7th grade girls, but he had them build a cardboard boat, and we had to see which small group leader could like last the longest in the lake. And so I sat there in the lake for probably like a good 3 minutes, and my group actually ended up winning, but it was super crazy because we always been told not to go near it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I remember I went to a camp once with some like middle schoolers, and we had to do like the same challenge, and we like built this boat out of the materials they gave us, and we sent this kid off, and it was like the smallest kid in our group, and he like instantly sunk. So you guys won. Congratulations. We did not win. Cool. That's super cool to hear, Riley, that you've just already been involved with kingdom work here and around the community, because that kingdom work doesn't like start when you're coming to Ozark, but you've already been involved with that. Super cool to hear. And so then my last question for you is, how is it that you want to use your degree in children's ministry for kingdom work even after graduating from OCC? So what are maybe it's something that you might want to do with that?
Yeah, I definitely want to get involved in like a children's ministry's like church. So like get to be a part of the church atmosphere and just like bring kids in and like help grow them as disciples of Jesus. And so I like getting able to like play games and like sing songs and like telling the kids Bible stories and just having like that aspect, because kids have such a childlike faith, like we always talk about. Yeah. And I just like seeing that side, but I also like watching kids get baptized. So I'm super excited to see more of that and like even be a part of making it happen at some point.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I love to hear that you're just already thinking through what the kingdom work that you'll keep doing even at Ozark and then afterwards is going to be. So Riley, you're super great to chat with you today. It's super exciting that we're going to have a whole new class coming on campus here in the fall. It's crazy how it's going to come so quickly, and I'm super excited for that, and I hope you guys are too. So thanks, Riley.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
That was a really great interview. We can't wait to see you on campus this fall. Next, we're going to hear from Jason Posnick, a biblical communications and New Testament professor.
The best thing about teaching at OCC is the end of the school year, when it's all over. Now, hang with me for a minute. Am I suggesting that the best part of teaching at Ozark is the flexibility in the summer schedule? We get summers off. Or getting to sleep in, not having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to prepare 4 hours of classes? Or as an introvert, maybe it's the quiet, peaceful hallways every summer. No, no, and no. So why am I saying that the best part of teaching at Ozark is the end of the school year? Because at the end of the school year, we have a tradition at our graduation ceremonies that as a student's name is read, we get to hear a brief description of their future ministry plans, how they plan to continue saying yes to God. And that's the best thing about teaching at Ozark Christian College. So maybe I should rephrase my statement. The best thing about teaching at Ozark Christian College is seeing young men and women say yes to God. This last semester, I taught a speech class. It's our basic introduction to communication. The very first speech that I have students give is a personal testimony, just their story of how they've said yes to God. And every story is unique, every story is different, but there's a common thread that often gets woven throughout these stories. Many of them have a Jonah-like experience. God was calling them into ministry, was calling them to their own Nineveh, but instead of going to Nineveh, they ran to Tarshish. They ran the other direction. But eventually, God got a hold of them, and now they're at Ozark, preparing for their Nineveh. And that was my story too. When I graduated from high school, I was at summer camp, and my youth minister pulled me aside one evening and said, "Jason, I've been talking with some of the other youth ministers, and we really think you ought to consider going into ministry. And I said thanks, but no thanks. And so I ran off to Tarshish. But eventually God got a hold of me, and I enrolled at Ozark as a non-traditional student in 2006. And 15 years later, here I am teaching at my alma mater. I teach in our biblical communication department, so our preaching classes. And every year, really every semester, I get to see students who have some ember that has been buried deep within their soul ignite, burst into flame. And students who never would have seen themselves preaching, never could think of themselves standing up in front of a room of people, delivering God's word, develop a passion for preaching. And that was my story too. I sat in my very first preaching class under our now president, Matt Proctor, and after one of the sermons that I preached in class, I was sitting in his office as we reviewed my message, and he leaned in, smiled, and said, "Jason, I could see you preaching for the rest of your life." And at some point throughout the course of that semester, an ember that had been buried deep within my soul somewhere ignited, burst into flame, and a passion for preaching started to develop. It begun to fan into flame a passion for what I do today. So about a year and a half ago, when President Proctor called me up to ask if I would be interested in continuing the legacy of the preaching department, it was easy to say yes to God. Because I know that whether it's in the classroom or at a commencement ceremony in the middle of May every year, I am going to continually see students who say yes to God. And the best thing about teaching at Ozark Christian College is seeing the next generation of kingdom workers saying yes to God.
Now it's time to give away our $2,000 Ambassador Scholarship. And this week's winner is Aaron Worthington. Congrats. We'll be in contact with you soon. Don't forget to submit your questions about OCC for our current OCC students to answer for a chance to win some OCC merch.
We're going to be at a ton of different CIY Move conferences and camps this summer, so be sure to stop at the Ozark table at one of those events for an opportunity to be featured in next week's episode and take a virtual tour of campus with our VR headset.
Seniors, don't forget to apply for free by June 30th. We'll see you all next Saturday, June 19th at 7 p.m. for our next episode of Ambassadors Live.
You're probably wondering why we have this ice cream right here, and it's because today is Ozark's 79th birthday, so we're going to celebrate. Happy birthday to you.
You want to serve God and make a difference with your life, but the reality is you don't know where to start. At Ozark Christian College, we train you for the kingdom assignment God has for you. Stop by our booth to play some games and take a tour of campus on our VR headset. Ozark Christian College, your mission is out there. Training starts here.